Okay, I'm testing live. I guess I have this on. What I'm doing here is just basically experimenting how to use uh, OBS and trying to do live streaming. I don't know in the long run if it's better for me to just stick with recording or yeah, just record it straight versus going streaming. So what I'm sharing with you right now is just my video, of course. And sometimes I wonder if I really need to do that. That just might be better off just, keeping that kind of out of the way so it doesn't quite disrupt what I'm trying to show on the screen. So like example here, this is a painting that I did using my iPad. And I have a couple variations of this, and I like to share them. Uh, One of the ways to probably share them is to log on my desktop and show you some of the stuff that way. But basically, right now, I'm just trying to see if I'm getting out. If anybody out there is hearing this, and I just want to start learning how to do stuff with OBS Studio. And one of the things I guess that, well, about me is that I'm into arts and crafts, jewelry, silversmithing, cutting, polishing stones, cabochons, a little bit of engraving, a little bit of this, what you see now on the screen, and just, and trying to promote my artwork a little bit more and be able to share it with other people out there that might have an interest in what I'm doing and maybe want to do the same thing. Uh, Even if I'm getting out live, the only way I know is if somebody clicks on and makes a comment. Uh, I've been playing around with this program a while, trying to get a handle on it. And one of the things that I found is you really got to work at it. It's not that easy in terms of, for an old timer, kind of narrating what I'm doing in the background. I turned on my makeshift light. I have a light that I use for light for, it's a type of umbrella with a mesh hood that diffuses the light. Uh, and it works. But it's kind of annoying. Now I know what TV personalities might feel like when they have the bright lights on them, or even people in movies. It could be frustrating to try to be natural. And my persona is probably uh, something I have. Well, I don't know how to say this, but I just being myself. And what I want to do is share some of the work that I put out, and at the same time have some fun sharing it. Like right now, I'm going to show you some jewelry that I made. And, this jewelry that I made, I have it shown down at display at Colette Pictures. Now, Colette Pictures is down here on 8th Avenue in Greeley. She has a gallery, it's a studio. There's other artists in there, uh, photographers, seamstress, picture framer, another, there's a seamstress, I believe, a photographer that's I believe he's retired and was working for the Greeley Tribune as a photographer. And then, of course, Colette Pitcher. She has that whole gallery down there. She provides art supplies. She provides a variety of artist materials. For example, watercolors, paints, oil paints, acrylic paints, sketch pads for watercolor, acrylic, oils, brushes, uh, arts and craft items like for linoleum block printing. Uh, she has clay, plastilina, special clay, and armatures if you want to do sculptures. Just a variety of stuff. And I think there's a lady there that teaches piano. Of course, they also do framing and one thing that I really enjoy is their art classes. I take the watercolor class and I've taken the acrylic class. And I was going into the studio until the COVID hit. And then after that, they started doing classes on Zoom format, which, if you don't know, it's a software program that connects with your computer and your camera, and it's really easy to use. You just tap on a few buttons, but basically turn on the computer or the laptop and press a button. She sends you an email that has a link in it called a button. You just click on it and it takes you to this Zoom format, a program that next thing you know, it flashes and you see Colette in the studio. You see her giving demos and students in the classroom and people like myself out on Zoom looking around at what's going on. Now, uh, what you see right here on the screen is some stuff that I made. They're OPE shells, and those OPE shells I got from Hawaii. And I polished, I sanded with coarse paper, medium, fine, up to 1000. And then I used a buffing compound to polish the shell. And what you see right there, they're really pretty cool. They're light and they're steel right now. If you think you're interested, something like that for a gift, or if you haven't been to Hawaii and you think you want to, have something like that for yourself, go down to Colettes and pick one up. I think they're really pretty cool. Now that said, I'll show you a couple other things that I have. On this one, the OP shells, I'm going to flip to some copper bracelets, and those copper bracelets I made here in my garage, and I've sold a few of them. I've had a commission work to make some for I want to say a customer, but also a former teacher that I have that I really enjoy taking her classes. Her name was Julie Elridge. You might know her. But right here, you see the copper bracelets I made, and they're down at Colettes. I can make this screen a little bit bigger. Oh, that's the price I think I have on them. And it took a little work to get them done, but I enjoyed making them. And of course, if you think that's something you'd like, head on down there and pick it up. Now these copper bracelets are probably 7.5 inches. These two are hoops. These three are closed. So you just slide them over your wrist. And they don't have a high polish on them, but if you wanted a high polish, uh, we could do that for you, or you just hit it with a polishing cloth and enjoy it. And now another thing I want to show you is a ring that I made, and it's also for sale down there at Colettes. Uh, it's made out of brass, and kind of moved the wrong screen, but I'm going to open this up a little bit bigger so you can see what it looks like. It's sitting down there. I'm not sure if it's a size 10 or what size it is, but it's a steel. I made it using my lost wax casting setup, and right now it's only one of a kind. I mean, I could make more, but right now it's until I sell some of the inventory I have. I'm not making anything else. I'm working on making these videos to share on YouTube, and maybe get some people that are interested in learning more about some of the different things I showed, and may want to take them up as an activity for either leisure time activity, or maybe actually creating your own business. Now, this brass ring's available, and a little story behind that is that casting in silver is kind of expensive, and I ran across some pipe fittings that people had given me over the years, or scraps, and what I did is melt them down and I cast them into what you see right here, this brass ring. And I made a few other items that I've sold and I could remake again, but again, I don't want to have a large inventory, mainly because uh, it's something that I like to have one of a kind out there. But if a lost wax design sells, I'll sell it. I'll make more of them to sell. Now here, one of the other things that I do, that I've done, I'll see how this is going to come out, is when I was making ukuleles. I learned from some guys in Hawaii, actually my wife's cousin, and I started asking him more questions, and the next thing I knew, he was giving me tips, and I was learning how to make ukuleles via the internet and watching videos. And when I go back in the summers, I work with Aki, and he would show me how to make ukuleles. And this is one of the second or third ones I made. It was a baritone ukulele, and I never really knew how to play it, but I sure had fun trying to learn how to play it. And I sold it. I don't remember to who, but I sold it in Okinawa. And just go to show you the fun I'm having with the software. I can open this up and show you, the close-up of the ukulele. Now, the wood around the outside at that time was a koa, and then the top was spruce. And this is one of my projects that I did. I really enjoyed it. And actually, I keep thinking of starting up and doing it again, but there's so many things I get into that I enjoy doing. I just have to pick and choose, and when I'm ready to change, I'll change. Now, another picture that I'd like to share with you is another piece of jewelry that I made. It was they're down at Colette's art gallery. Uh, one you'll see is a leather bolo tie with turquoise in there. It's cowhide, and I did the braiding, and I made that. And uh, when I was teaching at Valley High School in 1972, maybe 73, and one of the classes I taught was leather tooling, leather crafts, and I was also teaching a small jewelry class and lapidary class, and that was a product from then. And that, well, maybe 70s to now, that's 30, 40, almost 50 years ago. And I don't wear it anymore. So I decided, well, I'll put it out there. Maybe somebody would take a liking to it and appreciate it. Over here is another item of mine that I made. It has a story behind it. This chunk of turquoise and the chain, I made the chain, and it's out of sterling silver pieces, that scraps or stuff that didn't sell, or things that were mistakes, and I just recycled the silver. And then I made these chain, because I thought chains were kind of expensive to buy, but and they are, especially if you buy them out of silver this big. You got to pay the spot price, and silver has gone up from when I first started working with them a long time ago, from like, $5 to now I think it's in the 20s, maybe. Now this turquoise that you see there is a chunk I got in Tonopah, Nevada, at the Otterson's mine. A teacher that I took a class from out of Longmont was having a class and going to a mine to gather your own turquoise, and he's going to teach you how to cut, polish it, and then make a ring. And so I signed up for the class, went down there, I got a 5-gallon bucket of turquoise. And that 5-gallon bucket of turquoise, I eventually cut and polished it and tumbled it and sold it in my jewelry. I made some beaded necklaces, pendants. I have a few others that I've started, but I just haven't got them finished. And then one time I had it posted selling turquoise, and somebody was coming through Colorado on their way down to southern Colorado, and they saw my ad, and they came over and they bought all my turquoise. And I think at first it was like 3 cents a gram, and then I had better turquoise that I sold for 10 cents a gram. And I got rid of mostly all my turquoise that I had from Tonopah. Now, if you're interested in something like this, go down to Colettes, check it out. It's a very simple mount. There's a lot of sterling in there and a nice chunk of turquoise with a lot of matrix in it. Now, something else I want to share with you, if you're still out there, or if you haven't logged on yet. I know this is a long video, and maybe I should just stop right there. That just might be a good idea for me to just stop right here and see if anybody out there sees it and anybody wants to watch it and check with me. Again, I want to say thank you. Have a great day, and drop me a line if you want to see more, and maybe